I'm Richard Thompson, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Inclu group.
So, give us an overview of what Inclu is all about. I believe it's a relatively new organisation.
Yeah, it's new. It's a startup that's been 28 years in the making.
Right, okay.
And it's been that long since I first entered the market for travel for people with disabilities in 1997, when I set up a tour operator called Accessible Travel. And I did that. I had already been in travel for 10 years, but I had a spinal injury when I was working in the French Alps, which meant that I was looking at the industry I was already in from the lens of someone who's disabled. And how did other people travel, and how did other people book travel, which is why I set up that tour operator, because I looked at what was happening and it was like, I can do better than this. And really since then that's been my focus, which is facilitating travel for people with disabilities, whatever they might be, physical, non-physical, wherever in the world they want to go.
Before we move on to talk about the different sectors of the travel sector, what sort of response have you been having or had from established travel companies when you put forward your ideas and concerns?
To be honest, they can't do anything with it, and the main rump of travel industry worldwide simply isn't equipped to facilitate travel for people with disabilities.
Is that because the numbers are very, very low and they're just going for
well, the numbers are only low because our industries have kept them low. Disabled people don't have choice.
Yeah, sure.
The vast majority of disabled people, particularly luxury travel, which is the space that I'm in now, doesn't exist. Might as well be a sign swinging saying, nothing to see here, because it's just not visible. Look, how do you buy travel now? I mean, migration to online has made it even more difficult than it was for a disabled person to book travel than when I entered the space in 1997. Digitization of travel works for everyone who's not disabled. You cannot personalize travel for disability online.
Sure.
It requires people communicating with people, educated people. When I'm saying educated, I mean knowledgeable and understanding.
So
communicating with one another.
Yeah, what is your route in order to get bookings for disabled people?
Well, the reason why I launched Inclu was to change the narrative away from accessibility, because that narrative has failed. When we talk about accessibility, everybody's mind just defaults to the wheelchair.
Sure,
only 6% of disabled people use wheelchairs. And not only that, but it's so easy for the industry to push back on accessibility, because they will talk about their accessible rooms and that's the end of the conversation. Inclusivity and inclusion is totally different. And that allows me to use a totally different, have a conversation. So instead of saying, do you have any accessible rooms? I will ask, how do you feel about a family coming to stay in your hotel and with a disabled child, and every day he has to watch his brother and sister go off to the kids club, but he's excluded because you haven't invested in understanding. You haven't invested in training your staff. Or do you think it's accessible that people should pay to come to your hotel the same amount of money as everybody else, but they can't get in the pool, they can't go to the gym, they can't get on the beach, they can't eat in half the restaurants? Do you think that's acceptable? That's a very different question.
Sure, yeah. And you alluded earlier that the industry is not moving forward with this. So
it's incapable of moving forward. Because,
so what are you doing now?
We've created our own ecosystem.
You have, yeah.
Because we're capable of facilitating travel anywhere for anybody. We've been doing it for 20 years. The challenge is not, first of all, the challenge is not customers. 1 in 6 of the world's population is disabled. The challenge is the supply chain. We don't have a knowledgeable supply chain. So when DMCs don't understand the questions, never mind the answers, when hotels don't even know what they have in their own hotels, we have to educate everyone. We educate the hotels, we educate the DMCs, so that they can give us what we need, so that we can sell travel to disabled people. So we've literally created the solutions for everybody in that ecosystem.
It's a very involved process by the sound of it.
It's taken decades to develop, but 4 years particularly structuring it. And one of look, there's lots of barriers why the industry doesn't get into this. It doesn't believe there's a market. Well, there is. It just hasn't been serviced. Conflates disability with poverty, illness, neediness. All of those things are wrong. It thinks it's hard. It's not. It thinks it's a risk. It's not if you do it properly.
So are you focusing on a few sectors and sort of evolving and developing others, or what's your sort of starting point?
You mean sectors of the travel industry?
Yeah.
No, we do everything.
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 Yeah.
Long haul, short haul, adventure, cruises, city breaks. Look, once you understand the equation, it's just about joining up dots.
Okay.
But you need to have all those dots join up, or it doesn't work. So we've created. One of the reasons why I never really had traction with the industry is I was trying to persuade it on why it should do this, and I realised the why doesn't work. We had to come up with the how, and this is why we launched. This is why we launched Inclu Care. Inclu Care is a program that's designed to take any hotel in the world. It doesn't matter what the footprint is, from where it is now to where it needs to be in a few months. There's no heavy lifting. This is not about knocking walls. This is largely about education, support, and then making visible.
So what uptake have you been getting from the hotel?
We're working in 9 different countries now, but only isolated hotels, because what we've learned is you can't do this at macro level. It has to be done on a micro level. You start with one hotel. So we started with one resort in the Maldives, and that's had a cascading effect across the entire country. In fact, when I was over there, the government ministers flew down and wanted to know what we were doing. That's we've influenced change in the whole architecture of tourism in the Maldives. It starts with individual hotels. Can be within a brand. Kempinski Seychelles have just signed up to us. And Antara Daegu had just signed up with us. So, but these are individual hotels within a brand. To try and attack it at macro level doesn't work.
So once you get, as you say, an individual hotel within a brand, you're hoping it's going to spread out across. What we
have to do, Phil, is establish best practice somewhere. And the luxury space is the only place we can do that, because the main bulk of travel industry, it's not structured to do that. It's interested in numbers. But inclusivity is only 20% facility. So you could have a very inaccessible destination. It doesn't matter, because inclusivity is created by your workforce. Once they're empowered and confident and enlightened. So we can establish best practice in the luxury space, and what happens then, it cascades down. It was never going to cascade up. So we're comfortable with why we're in the luxury space.
So here at the World Travel Market, who are you seeing, who are you talking with, and what sort of progress have you made?
Well, today I was on a panel speaking about, well, the topic was everyone's welcome, or are they?
Right.
And addressing that in that, well, if you're a disabled person, you're not. If you're a pet, you are. If a disabled person has to go through hoops and fight to get the most fundamental information about what they need to understand whether they're going to stay in your luxury hotel. If you are a pet owner, you can choose the pillars, you can choose the spa, the treatment, the grooming. It's all on the website. You're lucky if you'll find any information about an accessible room for your disabled person. What does that say? What that says is that what it says is luxury hospitality does not regard disabled people as a premium client. But pets it does. What a travesty!
It is, isn't it? Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what the industry needs to understand is there is no legal requirement for hotels to look after pets. There is a legal requirement to provide an equitable experience for disabled people. In the UK, it's the Equality Act 2010, but we've looked at equality legislation globally, and they all have their idiosyncrasies because of religion and other sensitivities. But the core of every legislation is that you will, as a service provider, provide an equitable experience. That doesn't mean when they arrive in your hotel, it means that they should have the same experience when they're finding information about the accessible room, about the spa, about the pool. They shouldn't have to go through hoops to get to the point where, because you can't give us this information, we don't trust you, we're not coming to stay. And that's why this is still a niche market. The true market hasn't been realized yet. It's the last major untapped market in travel. Come on, only 17% of disabled people are born disabled. That means 83%, like me, acquire it along the way, mainly through aging. Whether you like it or not, the market is going to grow.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to take the risk of negative PR, because you should be doing it already? Do you want your stakeholders to eventually say, why are we not doing this? When this resort in the Maldives, the Miller Maldives, have had more publicity and more awards they could possibly have even imagined.
Really?
And they have 69 villas.
Yeah.
Nat, who sat here, is the PR company for us and for a Miller.
Okay, yeah, right.
They are a piece of sand in the Indian Ocean, and they welcome disabled people every day of the week from all over the world. If we can do that there, we can do this anywhere. There is no hiding place anymore.
Okay.
And there is no need to say we don't know where to start.
Yeah.
We have the start.
This has been very, very insightful, eye-opening, and I think to wrap up, what would be your closing message to the industry?
Stop being frightened of disabled people. Recognise this for what it is. It's the last major untapped market. Disabled people don't live in isolation. 1 in 6 of the world's population. Everyone knows someone who has a disability. What they don't do is talk about travel and holidays, because there is nothing to say. So get excited about this market. Stop being frightened of it. Take the first step. This is not about shaming, it's about shining. It doesn't matter what's gone before, this is about where you can go.
And shine, as you say.
Take the first step. It doesn't matter how small it is. But educate, the leadership must educate themselves first, and then everything is possible. But the solutions exist now, so there is no excuse.
No. Richard, thank you very much indeed for talking to us on Breaking Travel News. Very, very insightful.
Thank you.
We wish you well.
Thank you very much.